Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, and today we're going to take a look at the Fyreslayers. In this video we're going to talk about what the Fyreslayers do that's special in Warcry and how we can use them on the tabletop. We'll then take a look at a couple of units we can use to start our Warhammer Fyreslayers army with for Warcry, and then take a look at some units we can use to expand upon after we've got those initial purchases out the way. Finally, we'll finish off the video with a little sample army list of a warband of 1000 renown for you to use as some inspiration for creating your own Fyreslayers warband. So with all of that said, you can find these rules free to download on warhammercommunity.com. You can just go to the Warhammer Community website there, go to the download section, and underneath the Warcry header you'll find a ton of Warcry warband rules to find. The Fyreslayers are located in Order Compendium 1. Now, Fyreslayers generally are durable and tough fighters. They've got some cool abilities that allow them to double down on this aspect of their force, which is really nice. They can also be surprisingly good at controlling the pace of the game. They've got some fun abilities that can play around with your opponent's movement and also give you some extra movement. This, along with the fact they can make additional move actions to bring their fighters into combat, and see if you've got a friendly fighter already in the combat, and a particular leader unit option has a reaction to give you some bonus damage if one of your fighters is ever taken down, which can be, both these reactions can be used quite nicely together. Bring an enemy fighter in, see that fighter get taken down, have your leader then go wallop on them, or potentially have two fighters in, bring another fighter in for that fighter to gain the bonuses. Some really cool stuff you can play around with the Fyreslayers in Warcry. And so, to get started, I think there's no better place to start than an Auric Runefather. Now, you could easily choose to have an Auric Rune Son, either version with the Ancestral War Axe or Wormslayer Javelin is fine, but the Runefather for 15 renown more, I think, is a great choice. Toughness 4 and 22 wounds is pretty solid. 3 attacks at a 2-inch reach, strength 5, 2-5 on the damage is really nice as well. His big thing comes from the Lodge Leader double ability, where until the end of the battle round you add one to the strength characteristic of melee or weapon attacks by friendly fighters that are within 6 inches of him. So a nice double ability there. He's going to be almost getting that off every turn, and all the fighters around him are going to be absolutely turning on to beast mode. Speaking of fighters that have a beast mode, Volkite Berserkers for 65 renown. You can get Volkite Berserkers with sling shields, which take them to a whopping toughness 5 and 12 wounds at 65 renown. I think this is an absolute steal for a unit. You of course can choose to get some extra attacks on this model, in fact doubling their attacks if you go with a pair of Fire Steel hand axes, but really for me it's the single attack and definitely the war picks on that 1-4 on the damage. I think that is really the way to go with your Volkite Berserkers. They can be absolutely incredibly durable. Toughness 5 for the points you're paying for them is just insanely good. They also have a cool ability they can use as well, which is really nice for them. They can use Sling Shield Charge, where until the end of this fighter's activation, the next time the fighter finishes a move within 1 inch of an enemy fighter, you pick a fighter within an inch of you, normally the one you charge, allocate a number of damage points to that fighter equal to the value of this ability. So they can even do some additional splash damage, which is really nice for them as well. But where do we go to next? Well, let's look at the other units available to the Fyreslayer army, and the first one is Hearthguard Berserkers. These come in 2 varieties. You can either have the Berserker Broad Axe, which will pack you 3 attacks, strength 5, 2-4 on the damage, or you could have the Flamestrike Pole Axe, which will get you 3 attacks at strength 4, 2-5 on the damage instead, both of them being toughness 4 and 12 wounds. No change in the defensive options there for them. They do have the Duty Unto Death ability, regardless of which variation you go for, where a fighter can only use this ability if they have 5 or more damage points allocated to them. They can make a bonus move action, then they can make a bonus attack. So if you start taking damage on these models, they'll go in and start punching faces. The other option you have in that same kit is the Auric Hearthguard. These are a ranged unit, which I think brings a lot to your Fyreslayers force. You've got 2 attacks at range at strength 4, 2-4 on the damage, and a little bit of combat potential there as well, with defense 4 and 12 wounds. But really where they come into it is their ability that they can take. Encasing Molten Rock stops your opponent being able to move by hurting their move characteristic, halving it if they get hit by this ability. Auric Flamekeeper is another cool option. Now his big thing is the Master Flame Rune reaction, where we mentioned he can get friendly fighters if someone's taken down near him. So if a friendly fighter is taken down near him. Until the end of the battle round, you add 1 to the damage points allocated to enemy fighters by each hit and critical hit for melee actions by the fighter that uses this ability. Pretty cool stuff, and this is a reaction, so it can be really nicely timed in during the turn. Lastly, we have the Battlesmith, and this is where you double down on your toughness. His triple for the icon of Grimnir allows you to, until the end of the battle round, have half the value of his ability, rounding up to the toughness of friendly fighters whilst they're within 3 inch of this model. This can be incredibly good, especially on those Volkite Berserkers. You're not going to be easily taking them down when they're at a toughness of 6. And so here we have our sample warband for you. We've got the Auric Runefather as the champion and an Auric Flamekeeper and Battlesmith to join him. I think the Flamekeeper is just a really nice utility piece to have for the force here. The ability to have that Master Flame rune reaction is really cool. On top of that, he's not too bad a slouch in fight with 3 attacks at strength 4 and 1/4 on his damage. And then you've even got the Battlesmith, who's not too much a slouch either, with 3 attacks at strength 4, 2/4 on the damage. Both of them tracking at toughness 4 and 20 wounds. Now, fighter-wise, we've got 3 Volkite Berserkers with those Fire Steel Warpicks and Bladed Slingshots, the best way to take your Volkite Berserkers in Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry. We then have 2 Hearthguard Berserkers with Berserker Broadaxes. I think the Strength 5 is just so much better. That means they're generally not going to need too much help from buffs and all of that. And then 2 Auric Hearthguard in the force as well for some nice supporting units. 995 renown, 5 renown spare. You can try and fit this in if there's something else you want to do. You could try and go for one of Volkite Berserkers more offensive with the Fire Steel hand axes in each hand, but I think the Warpicks are just better anyway. 146 wounds is slightly above average, which is pretty good. We are generally, on paper, I guess, pretty slow, but that is something to think about because we do have a lot of abilities that can make the army a lot faster. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, drop us a comment down below in the comment section and let us know what you enjoyed about the video and what you'd like to see more of on the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here we have at Sinful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked in the video's description. Also linked in the video's description is our Patreon and YouTube members where you can go to help support the channel and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, Kenny Lauer, Outer on Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giappi390, and to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, and Monty's Tabletop Terrain. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now, everyone.